I kind of feel like I'm firing on all cylinders right now in terms of my playing. Everything feels good, everything sounds good, everything's comfortable. I'm at the point where I don't have to work really too much more on any of this music. As long as I just keep it on the burner, everything is gonna go really well on Wednesday. And I think it's because I've tried this new approach to preparing for kind of anything, but specifically music and specifically recitals and things like this. And the approach is working, and I think I'll use it probably from here until forever. The process I'm using to prepare all of this music is a stair-step process. In a lot of cases, when you're preparing for anything, I think most people think about it as an escalator. So you start here at the bottom, and as you get closer to that thing you're preparing for, you're just continually getting better and better and better all the way up until the event. And that makes a lot of sense because you want kind of the peak of your escalator to be right at the event. But with music, I find for me that I'm way more successful and I have much better performances when I have time to really think about the music. And this isn't time where it's just like, oh, I'm preparing for a couple of weeks and I have the time to learn it and prepare it. This is time in the sense where it's like I get to prepare it, maybe perform it once or twice, and then set it down for a good while. That way, when I come back to the piece, I have a completely fresh mindset on it, but I don't have to worry so much about the technical aspects. I'm not focused on that. I can just approach the piece just from the musical standpoint in terms of like what I want to get out of it. So that's what the stair-step approach is about. It's about doing a lot of work at once and then plateauing, and then doing a lot of work at once and then plateauing again, and doing that continuously over and over again until the date, the performance, whatever it may be. But instead of continually rising all the way up until the moment where that performance happens, the goal is actually to be at a plateau. Because when you're on a plateau, you're comfortable. You're not worrying about trying to get to the next step. It's all about being in that moment wherever you are. When I used to use the escalator method, I was always really concerned because I always felt like I could do something better. And that is still the case. I always feel like I can do something better, but I don't put the pressure on myself to try to have that perfect performance, to try to peak at the exact perfect time. It's actually way more calculated. So I plan all of the time that I do my really intense work. So this is the 2 or 3 weeks out from the performance. And then the week of the performance, that's when I plateau. That's when I decide that I'm not going to try to make everything better. I'm not going to really get nitty-gritty in the technique. I've succeeded, or I've accomplished what I'm going to accomplish, and everything that I do leading up to the performance is only going to make it more stressful for me. So as long as I decide to plateau, I'm not worrying about trying to go up anymore. All I'm worried about is trying to make what I have as great as possible. And it's incredibly liberating because I don't have to think that I'm going to try to peak at the right moment or I'm just going to continually go up. I'm going to work with what I have and try to make that great and just be very comfortable in that moment. Now the cool thing is that there are side effects of using the stair-step method. So when you're on the plateau and you're focusing on making that area that you're in perfect and making that work really well for you, then you actually have the side effect of actually taking a few steps extra. And the reason this happens is because when we practice, we're always focused on the thing in front of us. At least I am. I'm always focused on, all right, how can I make this line better? Like there's a goal that's just out of reach, and so I'm constantly trying to reach that goal. But when you plateau, you start to focus on different things. You start to let go of the technical things. You start to let go of the little tiny things that kind of get in the way of a practice session, and you focus on the bigger picture. And focusing on the bigger picture is often what is needed to take that next step and to get closer to that great performance that you want. So since I've started using this method, my whole life has changed in terms of performance. I start to prepare earlier and then let things kind of coast into my performance, and I just feel comfortable. I feel really great about it. And most importantly, I do really well.